Okay, let's start with the actual passing. So assuming that we've got somebody a little bit on their back and we're either underneath their legs already, or some people, especially the young kids these days, a lot of them actually would do what's called self-stacking, which is bringing their knees towards their chest, and they play a guard where they basically dare you to stack them because they're very bendy. So if you deal with somebody like this, oblige them, stack them, and our goal is to push their feet all the way to the ground. This will not always be possible for range of motion reasons, like with your arms here, but if you move down behind the knees, you should be able to put somebody's feet onto the ground like this. If we pivot just a little bit, one thing that's really important is that when I'm actually stacking somebody, I'm not relying just on my arms to do this. I'm placing my shin underneath the small of their back so that they can't easily get their back to the ground. So I'm blocking with my knee and with my chest. In the gi, it's a fairly easy matter to take this arm and bring it across to grab the collar. And all I'm doing is staying very, very heavy and allowing you to fall out of the position. The idea when we're doing a stack pass is that I almost don't want to pass your guard. I think Fabio Gurgel, who's got a great series with you, talked about this idea. Like the old school phrase is cooking them. But basically I want it to feel so that the person on the bottom is just like, for fuck's sake, let me out of here. Pass my guard, please, because you're eating your knees. You're having a hard time breathing. I'm just crushing you and I'm holding you in place, which is why it's so important to support the other person like underneath their hips so that you can really crunch them up. You don't want them to have the option of bringing their butt down. You want them stuck like this where they're really being compressed and it's harder to breathe. So if we go like into this position with me on bottom, as you stack me, and I'm fairly comfortable here, like when we do the leg drag transition, it's definitely going to be helpful to have me as the bottom person. But now that, like, if you place your knee up under a little bit, like post your foot, there you go. And so you've got this placeholder system where you're utilizing your shin to keep me really stacked up. I can't really press against that. If you remove your knee, I can bring my hips back to the mat, and this extra flexibility that I've got is going to be a real asset. Once you staple me into the ground with this knee like this, and then start to lean your chest on me, as you start to now bring this hand through, this really, really sucks. And you just lead with your chest and your hip, and then you pass my guard when you feel like it. So you hold the person there, you get that cross grip.
It's a thumbs up.
Yeah, it's a thumbs up, but the no-gi version of this is just to cup the neck. This is basically the same thing in no-gi. If I manage to stack you up to here, and I just reach across your neck like so, and then I'm just cradling your hip as well, so that I'm still keeping you in this position until I want to actually let you go and relieve the pressure. You can add a grip underneath the butt at the pants in the gi as well. Right? Like there are different variations on it. That's honestly not that important. What's important is the lever control that gets them stacked up. What's important is this kickstand with your knee and the pressure with your chest, and not, reaching across too much with your elbow to access the elbow push. One of the limitations of stack passing is when people expose their elbow in this fashion. So we want to make sure that somebody doesn't have that ability.
So it's a small reach.
It's a small, like if you're kind of crawling across, you're not turning your elbow out like this. You're just making sure you reach across, and again, thumb up, or just hooking the back of the neck in no-gi. So this is pretty much the classic stack. There's nothing revolutionary here. It's more just understanding how to enter it with good lever control, making sure we keep their hips in the air, and making sure that we block their neck so their shoulder can't get away from us and they can't walk their hip back down to the ground. We want to keep their hips up and want to keep pushing until their legs just disappear out of the way because they're begging for you to pass their guard. Stephan, you have a lot of august titles to your credit. Flexible guard player is probably not one of those at this point.
Especially post-hip surgery.
Post-hip surgery. So I'm going to be the uke for this. The situation we're talking about here is when you stack someone, and because of the flexibility of their hamstrings, they are able to keep their knees so close to their armpits or their chest that you just can't reach through in any meaningful way to control the collar or the shoulder. So when somebody, especially people who really keep their legs very wide here and are just able to hang out, like this is Actually, like this might seem uncomfortable. I could spend quite a bit of time here and have, depending on which Saturday night we're talking about. So to solve this issue, what we're going to look to do is move or force the leg drag. So what Stephan's going to do is take his left hand and kind of push my knee down a little bit and then replace it with his left knee. If I'm live toes here, this can be a little bit of a problem. So for like training purposes, it's useful to be dead toes. And if you're doing this in competition, it doesn't really matter if their toes get crunched up. This right leg is going to be out in base. So yeah, like feel how you've still got my hip really corralled.
So I'm here.
So you're still on your feet, and then you're moving into this crunch. You can see how this starts to kind of tilt me. Even though I'm fairly flexible, I can only move my leg so much. You've now replaced your control with your arm, with your shin, so you can let go with your left hand. And now you can reach across over top of my leg. In the gi, you can get a really good grip here. In no gi, you can simply grab at the ankle or even just cup the knee and just pull my leg into your pocket. And because you've already tilted me a little bit, and because you've got this leg up here behind me, I don't have the ability to move in any direction. I can't Granby. I'm just slowly going to have to come out of the position, and you can start moving towards finishing the pass with pressure. This is a really good position if you're more of a modern jiu-jitsu player. There are a lot of rolling back takes that come out of this, but for us old fucks, it's better to just smear this young person into the ground and make them rue the day they stuck their ass in your face. So we substitute this hand for this leg, and then we substitute this hand for this hand, and we pull them into the leg drag. And this really sucks. I'm trying to keep Stephan's weight off of me, but if we post this knee a little bit higher, so that it really blocks me from moving my hip down. So now there's a lot of weight sideways on my neck and my shoulder. This really sucks. I want to come out of the position because I'm being crushed at an angle that's not great for my neck. It's not great for my shoulder. So in this position, Stephan's going to substitute his left knee for his left hand and basically pin my leg into the mat. You can see how it's already compromised the structure of my leg. And now he's going to switch his left hand across to my left leg and pull it into the leg drag position. I'm super crunched up here. I can't really extend in any way. I don't have any base. And I'm starting to get so much pressure that I'm actually wanting to get myself out of the position, which Stephan mercifully allows and then completes the pass. So just like with the stack before, we want to hold the person there, cook them, make them miserable, and then eventually let them out. But in any case, against a really flexible guard player, this is a really good option.